Swa-Swara means inner voice. Sometimes it is difficult to hear it in a fast lifestyle. Thanks to cooperation with Ayurveda trails, I visited Swa-Swara Ayurvedic resort in South India. Here you can try to hear it. I was wondering how to realize project like this, focus on sustainability, in an area without water and any other supply. So I appreciate very much that Sidarth Dominic, one of the owners and founders of this project, found time for interview.
When I entered this place, and even first days, I have been still thinking about the way how it's projected here. Because, of course, I can recognize the Indian style, but I can recognize the European, not maybe European touch, but the European way of thinking, just for European guests to feel all right. Please tell me, the people who have been making the drawings of that place have been from India or from Europe or some team made together? How it was that time?
I wouldn't call it European design. I think the approach has been, see, for us it has been a journey which started in 1988 when we when we ran a resort in Lakshadweep. This was a virgin island which we were given based on a project which we had submitted to the government, where we said that we will run a place which respects the land, the people, and offer an authentic experience to travelers. From that journey, it was an evolution for CGH, where Swa-Swara, the journey is not ended, but it has been a natural evolution. We've just taken, the philosophy is coded into our core values. It is environment, it's the local population, and it's the offering has to be local in its offering. So if you merge that, you find that it is all about the laterite. The architecture is very Konkan, as this region is called. And we used an architect who was very much in sync with that kind of an idea, to give a very local, earthy feeling. At the same time, without compromising standards which are international, which kind of are muted, subtle, not in your face, but at the same time not taking away from the beauty of the location. So that has been very much part of, because the spaces have to reflect the values of who we are.
Yeah, that's it. That the level of service is very high, with no compromise. But still, I feel that the India, the locality, the place, the nature. This is what I have on my mind.
Okay. See, I don't think when we went, if you're talking of service, we haven't gone and recruited people from big hotel schools or people with high level of education. Yeah. They are genuine people from the villages of this region. We don't want to bring people from Kerala, because we are from Kerala. We are not going to bring people from Kerala. Okay, you have a general manager and one person other than the general manager who may be from somewhere else. But most of the team is from the locality. Okay. And all we tell them is to be themselves. I think you could say that in our belief, we think that there is an inherent goodness which will come out. And all you have to do is tap into that.
Okay.
So it's not about, and then you just tell them, look, there is a certain standard which you give them basic training on etiquette, and that's it. It's not about telling them this is the line, you walk this line. It's about serving from the right or clearing. There's hotel school principles which normally a hotel company would have followed, but we stay away from that. It's more about being yourself and being your natural self.
That's very good.
And we just kind of guide them into that.
Because it works like this. Yeah. I feel every meeting with everybody here as a personal meeting. If they are asking me, I think that they are really interested in my answer. This is not just only polite question. This is not just only polite kind of conversation. This is real interest. So that's good. For example, when we took some food again, Sharat, he was smiling. Oh, I'm happy that you enjoy that food. And I believe him, that he enjoyed the fact that we like the food and these things. So it's personal, that's it.
Yeah, it is like after we had lunch too, so I called the chef, because every time I come here I see a new avatar, or a new kind of interpretation of food. And the chef has a very interesting, because today, did you have the, the pancake?
I'm on the diet.
Oh, you're sorry. I had the pancake. It's the first time I was having it here. And it's very, very much part of this region. So in fact, I had 3 of them. And I said, chef, this is fantastic introduction, and how it blended with the fish. I think it is brilliant creation. But he feels happy that he's given the freedom to interpret it in his own way. All they have to understand is the broader framework of, we are a wellness, we are offering wellness to people who come here, and we want to be in the local content. We have to not offer Chinese and continental and all of that, but remain in the space of Karnataka, Konkan, and above everything it has to be healthy, because the person's coming here to get into that wellness frame of mind, body and spirit. So,
you know, I like that approach, because in my field, when you are doing a film, you have 2 options. One option is just to build a team of filmmakers and strictly control everybody, because you have concrete imagination and you don't want any changes, so you are strict to everybody. Well, the result is not bad if the first vision is not bad, but there is nothing more. The other approach is just to make a good team and then say, let's work together, let's create something together. And then the result is much higher, because it's then a cooperation with the heads, souls, minds, then it works like this.
So this is a very interesting discussion we have in all our properties in the corporate, of what is the path we need to take. And I fully believe that it is the second route which you just stated, is you get a good team of people together, and we have to believe in them, that there is goodness in them. And you should have that trust. And they will make mistakes. It's not that... but we keep talking about it and say which is the journey or which is the end that we are all working towards. So there will be different interpretations culminating in a new product. So that space, you give it. And I think the product is much superior to say, this is what we have designed, now let's all do that. I think you'll get a suboptimal product. Whereas everybody brings in, because I am surprised each time I go to a property, there are new interpretations. The GM is saying, okay, the dress, let's do this. The way we keep the glass, let's do something else. Let's introduce something else in the pool, something else in the treatment. And it has to be dynamic. The world is dynamic, our minds are dynamic, we are all...
Who is not changing, he's losing. It's every time...
So I think it works very well when you give that space, and the person feels a sense of satisfaction in working, a self-fulfillment.
That's right, because it's cooperating on the building, then it's his work as well.
So we say co-owners, so we are all co-owners, co-creators, I think would be the better word.
That's great. Let's talk about creation of that place, because, these banyan trees are beautiful, and the landscape is beautiful, but there is almost nothing to start to maintain the house. No water supply. I don't know how is it with electricity, or it's maybe taken from Gokarno or somewhere. So how was the first idea? Anybody came here and said, well, this is the place where I'm supposed to build something, or how it was?
I think a normal hotelier would think 2 times when they would choose a site like this, because when you saw this piece of land in maybe 20 years ago, it was barren. There was just 1 or 2, palm trees which grows without water. It's a very dry zone. And from there, but we were confident because we ran a resort where there was nothing available. So we were confident that let's build. And part of our core values is environment. So water, the whole process of collecting rainwater, harvesting rainwater, and all that kind of naturally fit into it. And the architect we chose was specifically because he had the idea that he knows what we are talking about. environment, local community. And in a place like this, capturing the essence of the natural beauty of the destination, and then to create whatever has to be done. See, there is not even a staff quarters, there was no electricity, there was no water, there was no nothing. Even people, if you got people here, where are you going to house them? To reach from the airport is, those days it took 3-4 hours. Right. It's not normal for people to go build hotels and then start struggling. We said, let's create the product. But it has been an evolution even for Swa-Swara from the time we started to what it is becoming. It is a journey. The product has continuously been evolving, and we are getting more and more focused into become a wellness holiday. We want to leave it in the holiday space. Okay. We've got other places which are more focused on curative and hospital. This is going to be a different kind of holidaying, where it is a holiday for the body, it's a holiday for the mind and the whole being. It's a different way of, after the holiday you should feel good about it. Not saying, I've drank too much, I've eaten too much. Go back and feel better. Okay. Yeah.
This is interesting that the approach we have been talking a few minutes ago is just from a beginning, maybe in karma of this building or of this resort, because you believed the architect and you led him to do his best. Was it like this?
I think so. We gave that complete freedom, because the brief was capture the essence of this region. Okay. Where most of the houses, and we knew from his work which he has done elsewhere, he's an architect who has the ability to keep his mind open to understand different locations, using natural elements and become very earthy. So he did not deviate in any place from that core concept. And we told him, the rest is your creation. That's great. So use that, and that's the thing. I think the water harvesting lakes he's created is brilliant, because it has taught the entire village and the forest department and the government that in regions like where there is no water, there is enough water coming in. An annual rainfall in Karnataka in this region is more than a meter of rainfall per square inch. Yes. It's all you have to do is collect it and keep it for the rest of the year. Yeah. And we are now opening up and telling the government, do this for the village, because they are all, after the rains are over 2 months, and they're all saying there's no water. But actually there's been so much water, it's all you have to do is collect it and use it wisely. So,
and do they follow?
I think it is a learning for them. They know, but they need to have the political will. But it's a learning which they've seen, because we've operated for 15 years now, and they see it's a model that it stays there.
You can show, look at this, it works.
Yeah, it works, absolutely. And you're getting absolutely clean water without any cost.
Yeah, that's the clean water. Where are the guests usually from? From Europe?
I think Europe is our essential, but we are seeing more and more domestic. We think India has suddenly discovered travel. The idea of travel, if you look at India, it has always been pilgrimages. Okay. You see, if you go back 20, 30, 40 years, the concept of holiday did not exist. It was males who went on pilgrimages primarily to holiday. Okay. And family holiday concept is slowly evolving. The number of people of middle income and above in the Indian landscape is going up, and they have spending money available. And we are seeing that as a new frontier where you're going to see a lot more Indians travel, and Indians have traveled everywhere and are understanding the goodness of their own Ayurveda and yoga and things like that, which they had abandoned for many years. So primarily our clientele has been Europe. We've got the rest of the world chipping in, but India is a growing segment. Today that is the current clientele.
This is very interesting that in my country I think that everybody thinks, well, India, all the people are just exercising yoga, living according to Ayurveda, and strongly spiritual health.
Unfortunately, that's not been the case. I think these are some sciences which were forgotten, abandoned literally. Be it Ayurveda, be it yoga, and Indians went just aping the West. And they wanted to do everything the West did. So allopathy is, we got the biggest corporate hospitals selling allopathy today in India. You've got people who are not leading the healthiest lifestyle. They've got lots of money today, and they are eating and drinking what the West has done. Fast food has become very much part of our culture. And the health of the average Indian has been going very much below what it should be. You see populations of huge diabetic and lifestyle heart diseases and obesity, and you name cancer, and every other disease has been on the increase. I think today people are now slowly beginning to awaken that these things are available here. All that was part of ours. I think the recognition is coming back, and they're going back to their into these holistic treatments.
I've been talking to this very interesting man. His name is Deepak Chopra.
Yeah.
Do you know him?
Yes, he's a guru. He's a holistic guru, I think. Yeah. Based out of America, I think.
Yes. We have been making an interview maybe half a year ago.
Okay.
And I like very much that he has studied Ayurveda, he has studied just allopathy. And he just said, well, we should find what each side can help each other.
Correct.
And then develop this. And I think that he is doing marvelous job for Western part of civilization of the people to discover the Ayurveda and to start to believe it. Because as many of people are just covered behind the reason, only reason. What I cannot touch, I don't believe. And now they see the success and the results of work of Deepak Chopra, and they start, okay, let's try it, we will see. And it's spread. The information is going very fast, I think.
I think in Ayurveda, the way it can work well is diagnostics in allopathy is so good. They've got technology. If we can use diagnostics along with treatments and mesh it together, we can have something so brilliant. We've got two Ayurveda hospitals, Kalari Kovilakam and Kalari Rasayana, both in Kerala. And of late, the discussion with the doctor, our earlier approach has been go completely and squarely in keep it traditional, holistic Ayurveda. But today we tell the doctors, why not look at the advantages of allopathy and see how that diagnostics test results, you can take blood tests and all that, and use that and prove it to your person. Look, you're looking at transformation. And that they get the belief much more, solidly that yes, it's not mumbo jumbo, it's not magic. It is real scientific thing there is physiological changes that are happening in your body, and you are healing. So I think it's like
You're
you
right.
said.
These two jealous sciences should become friends.
Absolutely. I think today if you go and ask an allopathic doctor in India, he'll completely trash Ayurveda. He'll say that don't stay far away from it. It'll cost you, your kidneys will fail or your something else will fail. Don't touch it. Because there is no proof. But I think the reality, and some of them are open enough. People like Deepak Chopra can really do wonders in educating populations to look at, let's see happy marriage of both together. There are strengths in both.
I've sent a postcard from here to my allopathic doctor at home. So I'm looking forward to meet her when I'll be back, just to discuss the experiences. It will be fine. You mentioned the core values of your company. Please tell me more about them.
So what core values, which today we have codified as core values, are values that we learned in our first experiment in Lakshadweep, where environment, I'll just describe Lakshadweep. Imagine the only island left on the planet Earth. Absolutely as a marvel of creation, where nothing is spoiled. You can go touch the fish. Nothing was untouched. The coconuts on the trees just fell down and nobody would touch it. So it's absolutely blue water. And when we went there, we realized, look, there are very few places on this planet which are left like this. It is our job, it is our responsibility to ensure that it continues to remain in that. So which means we have to really understand every action we take has to respect and be sensitive to the environment. The guests are not important, the staff are not important. The priority is the environment. Because once you lose that, the very purpose, what brings anybody there is lost. So environment is something which we have codified as we operate not in city landscapes. We are operating in beautiful rural, natural settings where nature is pristine even now. So it is our responsibility to ensure that it continues to sustain that nature in that way. So environment sensitivity is the number one in our core values. The second was to be local in content. Is that when we, if our experiment in Lakshadweep was successful, is because we offered an experience to the traveler, an experience of being a Laccadivian, to touch and feel what the local Lakshadweepian would have enjoyed of that land. The food, the architecture, the land, the experiences, everything should be local of that location. So when we came here, we said, what is Gokarna known for? What is the USPs here? And we just kind of highlighted that. And we said, when we create a property, we should celebrate that localness of that place. Okay. And then it is to be inclusive of the community. Again, we operate in landscapes which are rural and in village settings. And we do not want to stand out like build a fort around us and say, this is a fort where everything wonderful happens. We want to tell every villager here saying that we're just trying to replicate what your lifestyle is there, so that people are able to experience what you are. And you get the local population to, be involved, become, and they should gain from your presence here.
And they can help very much.
They have to be stakeholders financially also. So how do you give them, if they produce anything, you have to be a market for that. If their services as employees are available, we should hire that services. So these are responsibilities, because otherwise it is, I can sit here and say, where is the cheapest labor available? I can say from the northeast of India, there are many people who are available at low cost. Let's bring a busload of them and employ them. It's not what we want to do. So we have to employ people who are seeking a job from this locality, and they need to celebrate this place. They need to be happy about, they should be proud of something
in homeland.
Yeah. So these three are what we have, so it's environment, local content, and inclusive of the community. These are three values which we've said, any decision which we take in any of the properties in CGH has to go through this filter. Today we have tried to include a fourth value, which is health. We are saying whatever we do, we have to ensure that it is healthy to people, whether it's food or whatever practice we have, it has to be healthy too. So that is something which we are trying to incorporate into our core values.
You mentioned one thing which I personally like very much, but I think that for many businessmen it would be just deathful sin. You said the client is not on the position number one. How you develop or how you get to this decision? Because as I said, I like it very much, but for many business rules it would be, mistake. The client should be the first.
Yeah, I think I would say traditionally, not traditionally, I think worldwide the sentence is customer is king.
That's it.
For us, I think we have learnt from experience, and my eldest brother, Jose, I think he had the vision to always state very boldly that in his experience of how we have evolved, to let us make it one of our, tell our staff, because otherwise they get carried away. The customer is the king, whatever the customer wants, let's fulfill that. And we catch the tiger by the tail. And wherever the tiger is running, we run. And the product will completely change. Saying this is what we have defined. If you enjoy who we are and like our thought process, come and journey with us, and then you will enjoy it. But otherwise, sorry, this is not your place. Is the attitude which we have gone into it. And I think it has worked well, because I think it's a growing community of people who understand, who have realized that, the depth of what we are trying to do. That environment, and these are things that which I think, see, if you look at destinations in travel and tourism industry, destination after destination has been, trashed because of completely following what customers wanted. It was, yeah. So here it is, we are saying this is the land and this is the people. We are here because they are paying the price for it. And we need to respect them and ensure that their generations will continue to enjoy this land the way they want it.
You know, I have been filming in Amazonia, in Ecuador, with a local tribe. And when there is just a ritual of young boy becoming a man, he should accept responsibility for all the world. So this is boy from a forest. He has never seen New York, he has never seen even the car.
Yeah.
And he accepts, well, I am responsible for all the world.
Wow.
I think that's
Brilliant.
a good thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Each of us should
Absolutely.
think
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah. And then you realize they are so much more advanced than us. When you really think of it, we are unable to realize that. So today, if you in the city in India, you catch a young boy and tell him, accept the real world. He doesn't know what you're talking.
Yes, that's right.
But I find it brilliant if it's happening. It's news to me. But this is in Amazon, you said.
Yeah, I like it very much. Since this moment, I have it in my head, and still I'm thinking, it appears sometimes in my mind. I say, well, this is another moment where I should be responsible for the world, or this person should be now.
And if each one thought like that, I think the planet would be such a nice place.
Would it be?
Absolutely.
Yes, because it will be our home, and we will take care about it as our home.
Absolutely.
How simple it is.
I think if you take that into the journey of CGH, I think we are creating more and more people who you may not entirely respect and appreciate what we are doing. But once you come into a CGH property, I think somewhere you start seeing and feeling a certain positive change towards that kind of a thing. And we may be helping in that transition of helping people to think differently. And they need to be more accountable and responsible as human beings.
So let's go on the opposite side. Please tell me, how is this business in India? So many people in my country are fascinated. Well, India businessmen, they now go. It's there around. They are difficult competitors. But how is it? How is the real business in India? Tell me your feelings or experiences.
I think India has created tremendous businessmen. I'm not talking about the CGH story, but the business acumen of certain
there are investors all around the world and
are absolutely sharp.
Tata story,
yeah,
wow.
Absolutely. And those guys, I think the kind of hard work and determination they bring in is unbelievable. Whether we have created models which are unique and are the real creators, I'm not sure. But if they have a model, then they can take it, they can scale it up.
How does look the competition? Is here just the profit is number one, or still there is some part of ethics and about responsibility?
You're talking about Indian businessmen?
No, about Indian businessmen, not about just you, but...
It's a difficult question for me to answer for others, but from where I see it, I think my personal feeling is I'm not so sure whether we are responsible and ethical in the way we do business. If you look at many of the big business houses, the corporates who are growing, it's only numbers. It's the balance sheet and the bottom line and the top line that matters. End of the day, shareholder has to be happy. I think that's the story across the planet. Yes. That's what destroys real, it's taking away and, destroying our planet. I think that's where CGH is trying to say we have a sustainable, responsible model where we can make a difference. And I would say that CGH as a business model is not a what do you say, a charitable organization. It's not an NGO. Okay. No, it is a for-profit, and we think we are the most profitable hotel company. The kind of costs we bring in and the kind of return we are able to take out, I think we are a very sustainably and a future-proof, responsible business model.
You are 5 brothers, is it right?
We were 6 brothers. We lost one who passed away about 10 years ago.
Okay. Please, I hope this is not too personal question. Tell me how to
do brothers work together?
This, yes, because sometimes, every time there must be different opinions, but you are family, not only business partners.
Yeah, I think it is a big challenge. I'm not saying that when you work in family business, and especially when there are 5 brothers working together, it's not always that everybody says yes to something. It has challenges, but I think the way we have worked around it is we know there are problems. And we have said that let's recognize that we will not always agree. And that we will discuss.
Okay.
And we've tried to professionalize our enterprise as much as possible. We have gotten professionals into the company who are able to, and we say there is a difference between ownership and management. If you're in management, you're a manager, and there is a organizational structure where there is one person who is the head and we all follow the head. Then you're no longer an owner. When you sit in the boardroom and you're an owner, you can ask your questions as an owner. But in management, there is a structure, and you have to, unless you work in that structure, it will collapse. Yes. Because there is one captain for the ship, and that captain has to give direction.
It should be like this.
Correct, yeah.
Then again, this is similar as in a filmmaking. There must be one person.
Yeah, end of the day, but the challenge for the captain is to give the space to each one.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's too frustrating. You'll say, to hell with your ship, I jump.
And this is, as you say, about the approach. Let everybody to create something, to put a piece of soul to common work. That's it.
I think from that point of view, I think our success has been, we have all been given the space, and we recognize the need for each one's space.
And for the brotherhood communication, the recipe should be just open the troubles, open discussions, not go around, just open it. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's say, well, you don't understand, so or you don't agree. Let's talk about it. Let's open it.
I think discussion is the thing. You got to keep throwing. However bad or ugly the situation is, let's talk about it and see what happens. Sometimes it becomes very difficult. Yes. We sometimes bring an outsider who has experience to kind of mediate and say, you talk softly, now you talk. Some people don't want to talk. So give everybody a chance to talk and let everybody vent. Only then we kind of hear everybody out. Otherwise, somebody is silent, it doesn't mean that he's in agreement.
Yes, that's right.
So we need to understand and tell people who are quiet, come on, you have a point of view. Are you in agreement or not in agreement? So we know what is the position, and we keep going along.
Thank you very much for that you are so open. I'm sure that this is in ordinary everyday's life, in a partnership. For example, with my wife, if we have problem, we must open it. We must talk about it. Otherwise, it's still growing up slowly from year to year, and once it will be unbreakable.
It becomes bigger and bigger, bigger than you can manage. Yes.
Do you personally have time for Ayurveda, or do you follow the Ayurveda rules?
I have actually off late we have opened a new naturopathy center. So I have been practicing Ayurveda. I've done it 3 times. So every alternate year I try and take that 2 weeks and do a Ayurveda treatment. Off late we opened a naturopathy hospital in Kerala called Prakriti Shakti. Prakriti Shakti means the power of nature. And I've been constantly interacting with the doctor, and I'm just trying out some of those principles. It's more of a lifestyle. So I've done a small stay in that property and tried it out. So I'm in that mode now. I'm trying to see how that will have an impact. But I think there is so much of power in all these traditional holistic systems of, you age gracefully. If you follow some of those lifestyle changes and you make the necessary changes, understand, and
I like that you doesn't look to me as a stressed hunted businessman, that you are happy on your position. Are you happy?
I'm absolutely happy. I find this a very interesting job. I'm lucky to have a job of this nature because it gives me the opportunity to meet so many people and to hear people, and constantly it's a completely a voyage of discovery. Every day meeting different new ideas are coming. Earlier I think my problem used to be I had a very fixed mindset. But I said the minute you open it up and receive everything, and everybody has something to contribute. I don't think you can discount anybody. I keep telling all our managers, you don't know where the idea is going to come from. It could be the gardener, it could be the security man, it could be the person who looks after the swimming pool, who has seen something happening and saying, why not do something like this? You may save costs, you may give a better experience to your client, and it may be more profitable, it can be better for the environment. I don't know what is going to happen. So just to have that open mind, I think it kind of takes away the stress. All you have to do is put it all together and hold them all together.
So please, can you tell me about differences between your Ayurveda centers that you have?
Yeah, before that I'll just give you a broadly CGH Earth. We started from leisure. That is, we ran resorts attracting tourists. And somewhere in the journey we discovered Ayurveda, where we made it an experience, because Ayurveda is very much a Keralan experience. We believe that Ayurveda has its home in Kerala. And so we added a small Ayurveda center to one of the resorts. And from that resort, there was such a good feedback. Tourists who came and experienced Ayurveda came back and did proper treatments. And then the thought process said, why not set up something devoted to Ayurveda? That's how the Ayurveda, Kalari Kovilagam, our first, holistic Ayurveda hospital was born. And there we the approach has been to offer pure Ayurveda as per the text. And here too we found the demand. People initially we said 2 weeks is going to be your minimum stay. People said, so we were talking to travel agents, tour operators, and they said, no chance. You give 3 days, throw some wine and beer and give them some beef steak in the evening, and maybe you will have people to stay for 3-4 days. We said, no. Ayurveda says 2 weeks, and without that, it's not going to happen. The diet is going to be plant-based, vegetarian, Ayurvedic diet. So initially it was very difficult, but over time, people recognized that you came and went through that program and it really worked. So it was successful. That led to us opening a second Ayurveda center. When we opened, the mindset was, let's offer an identical Ayurveda center. One is Kalari Kovilagam and Kalari Rasayana. Somewhere down the line, we realized a lot of the individuality of the doctor and the skill of the doctor is reflected in what that particular hospital is going to move into, the direction. So, Kalari Kovilagam has a certain kind of customer it appeals to, whereas Kalari Rasayana appeals to a different set of customers. Purely based on how the doctor approaches. The doctor in Kalari Rasayana has a different approach. He is.
So Ayurveda is built on subjective methods, subjective approach. That's all right.
I'm not an Ayurvedic doctor. I don't claim to be one also. But in my understanding today is Ayurveda science, they are all passed out. They've taken their doctorate from Ayurveda colleges. But the way they interpret, if you go to 3 Ayurveda doctors for your condition, you'll get 3 different kinds of treatment meted out. So that individuality, we let them have it. So it is not like allopathy. If you went to an allopathy doctor, he will most likely that you will have the same thing happen. But here it would be different. We believe that we are offering the same product, but more and more people who've been to both say that the personality is completely different of Kalari Kovilagam and Kalari Rasayana. They all offer, in essence, when you look at it as a layman, it offers the same kind of treatments. But I think they are completely different in personality.
As it is raining and the sound of rain is possible to hear, how do you like this weather?
I really enjoy the rain. Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a monsoon we are seeing after many, many years. And this year, I think, again, sustainability and responsible to the planet is becoming so important, because in south of India, we've been seeing such extreme weather conditions in the last 2-3 years, and the changes are so fast. We have suffered the biggest floods in the last 100-200 years last year, and we thought that it will never happen again for the next 100 years. But immediate next year, as we speak, many places in Kerala are having very bad floods, high water, and even the hills coming down. The intensity of rain is so high, the wind speeds are much faster. I think these are signals that all human beings have to really say, look, what we had been doing all this while abusing the planet is not going to take us much longer. We need to start changing our ways, and otherwise I don't think we are smart enough to manage nature. Yeah, so this weather, while it's nice, but I think it has become much more extreme. Normally, this is when the monsoon should have ended. This is August. June, July is typically the monsoon. August is when the festivals start and all.
So this is unusual.
This would be unusual, very late and unusual.
And you can recognize it in comparison of past years that the changes are really
going.
going.
The last 100 years, Kerala monsoon is June, July, and this year we did not have rains in June, July. Even here we are seeing a delayed monsoon. This is Karnataka, but very similar weather pattern from Kerala up to Karnataka. But we are seeing a huge change in the weather. The whole monsoon period is shifting, and the quantum of water falling is so high. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.